Hello, everyone. I'm glad that you can make it. Why don't I read you a story? I think that'd be nice. Let's see. Today's story will be about the little woodsman and the dancer. I hope that you enjoy. There was a little woodsman, as happy as can be. The little woodsman was happy as can be. And yet he saw a magnificent forest on top of the mountain, taller than he can see. So overjoyed and determined, the woodsman climbed up the mountain. He got to the forest, and there he could see the lush, soft grass with the smell of morning dew. The forest was something that nobody quite knew. He was quite overjoyed and as happy as can be. And so thus the little woodsman said, I will live amongst these trees. These trees are quite tall, taller than he can see. It was quite amazing. So, moving forth, the woodsman wanted to spend more time there. So, he decided that he would build himself a little cabin. And he chopped down a few trees. I will live amongst these trees, he thought to himself, and I will be as happy as can be. He built a house quite lovely indeed. But when he was inside, he realized, but I can't see my beautiful trees. So the woodsman decided to keep building taller. I want to be able to see these luscious trees. So he built another floor. And this floor was nothing but windows. And he looked out. Wow. This is quite a sight to see. But yet I still can't see my tall, beautiful trees. I want to be able to look up at the leaves. So he built higher and higher until he was in the leaves. He cut down more trees. And soon he would see. The higher he went, he finally made it to the leaves. And he saw in the branches all the beautiful things. The squirrels, the owls, the birds, and all. Who would have thought I would have felt so small? The woodsman looked out his windows, and then he looked down. Wow, this is quite up. This is quite high up. Taller than I would have thought to be. But as yet he looked up. He still couldn't quite see the top of his trees. So he decided, I will build this even more, and I will go taller. Tall and tall to the top of the trees. So the woodman did just that. He kept cutting down some trees, and he built his home taller than he thought he could do. And then finally, after a long while, he made it to the top of the trees. He looked out his windows and thought, wow, such a beautiful thing. Then he looked to the skies and he saw the beautiful birds flying high. That's where I want to be. beyond the top of the trees. So he did just that, and he cut down more trees. He built his home as tall as you can see, tall to the sky, to where he can touch the clouds, just gently. He finally came back down. I should take a rest amongst my trees. But when he stepped outside, he realized things were not as they used to be. The lush grass has flattened away. There is mounds of dirt pulled up. The trees were all gone. He wondered what happened. I don't understand. I wanted to live amongst the trees. But then he looked to his hands and he cried. I can't believe I took all these things. I took them away from where they used to be, happy and truly where they were meant to be. For I wanted to be amongst the trees, selfish indeed with greed. So the little woodsman decided, this is not what it's meant to be. This is not what I wanted to see. So he decided to take down his home. And finally, when there was nothing left but the rubble of the trees, he sat there on a log, thinking, how could this be? He cried and he cried as a storm cried with him. He thought he gave the mountain such pain to take away its beautiful forest, all its tall, tall trees. Then suddenly, a graceful tall lady danced her way up the mountain. And as she looked to the small man, she asked, what happened to the trees? Little woodsman, can you please explain this to me? The woodsman was quite confused, and yet filled with such sorrow. So he looked to the dancer lady, and he says, I'm sorry, but I took your trees. I wanted to be strong and tall as those trees. I wanted to look out and see everything far as the eye can see. I wanted to be with them and enjoy everything in its green. But what I have done is selfish and greedy indeed. He wept and he cried down to his knees. But the tall dancer laughed and giggled with such glee. Do not fear and worry, little woodsman. I only ask that you now come dance with me. She reached out her hands, and the woodsman didn't know what to think of this. And so he gave in, and he decided, yes, I will dance with you. They held hands and bounced around. And as the dancer hummed, something happened to the ground. It no longer felt hard and cold and rough with dirt. It felt soft and warm and lush. Oh, indeed, something did happen. As they continued to dance, the dancer then said, close your eyes, little woodsman, and tell me, What did you see?" And our little woodsman then explained, "I saw such beautiful trees in all its green, the birds, the bees, the skies, and the dirt beneath. Oh, I want to take it back. How I wish I could take it back. I just want one more time to see all those beautiful trees." And then finally, the dancer laughed and let go. And when the woodsman opened his eyes, there it was. He watched all the life grow. The grass flourished and bloomed and blossomed in a flurry, as though it were aflame. The trees grew and grew and grew, taller than he could see. The woodsman realized what he had done was wrong and full of greed. So he then decided to leave the trees be. "I am sorry yet again, dancer lady. I did not mean to hurt the trees." The dancer then said, "Do not worry. You learned your lesson and you understood all the things that came from your greed. And yet, now look, you've helped all of these things grow. Look at my beautiful trees." The woodsman smiled and gave his thanks. "Thanks for helping me see. I will gladly leave these trees be." The dancer then turned and twirled through the trees. And as the woodsman was leaving, the dancer said, "Please come back again so you can dance with me within the trees."